Hey everybody, it's Michelle. We are doing Paint Your Pet, Do-It-Yourself Pet Portrait Fun Kit, and we're going to be doing Harry the cat with some flowers, and it's a paint party for a birthday party. So we're having a little fun doing a birthday party, and first we're gonna get all like. What I did right now is I did a whole bunch of, I drew out what Harry was. I sent it out to Carrie, and I'll show you a little bit of what I did last time. This was from the King Charles Cavaliers. So basically, people just send me in a photograph of their pet, and then I walk you step by step. I give you the drawing of your pet, and you trace it out, and we're going to go ahead and start painting. So I give everybody their watercolor set, and we're just going to put a little bit of water on each of your colors. Always have your wet paper towel. That's your friend.
Hi, Paul.
There she is.
Husband, sneak into the basement.
So basically, we're going to start with Carrie. What was the first color in my paint by number kit? What did I start with?
It's like you did yellow flowers and yellow table.
Okay, that's what I usually start with. Yellow in watercolor is one of the lightest colors, so you always in watercolor you want to start with the lightest color. So I just kind of wet my my yellows, and I'm just gonna fill up that whole section. You don't have to get into the details of the daffodils. I just kind of you just fill up a little bit of that color, and if you want, you can kind of hit a little bit of the orange if it's a little too lemony. The daffodils have like a little bit more, have a little bit of orange in them, and just fill up that whole section.
A drawing, but you could just do it in watercolors.
Yeah. So you just kind of, and you don't have to be so particular. You don't have to be exact. I just kind of fill it up because yellow is one of the lighter colors. Once that dries, you can go back on top of it and do the darker colors. So, and I just mix it in the palette so you can see what color you're mixing. Like I said, you can add a little bit of orange if it's a little too lemony. Daffodils have that nice golden color. So this is one of the first Paint Your Pets with the kitty cat.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Mom.
I hear a puppy. Somebody's back there getting...
That's Bella in Connecticut.
Aww. Bella's like,
where's Bella?
Why aren't you painting me?
I am.
Oh. So now that I just kind of did that yellow. I'm going to let that section dry a little bit. And then I'm taking that same yellow in the palette. I'm going to mix in some of that lime green. And I'm going to just do the stems. So even though the stems are pretty dark up here, I'm just going to fill the whole section. Like, in watercolor, you want to fill it layer by layer. Everybody's joining me. Hey, Chris. Hey, Karen. Karen's joining as well. Chris.
Oh, on Facebook?
Yeah. I'm doing Zoom and Facebook. I'm like multitasker here.
I can multitask.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be
probably not.
The head of the IT department.
I didn't even do my drawing yet.
So I'm just filling up all that. That's pretty, it's light. But I'm just going to let that do all that green. Yeah, just kind of fill that whole section in. Let it dry a little bit. I have my wet paper towel. If it drips or anything, or if the color comes out the wrong, you just kind of dab it with your wet paper towel. So let's get into Harry's little grayish areas. So with the on the white, everyone always asks about the white on fur.
Hey, Michelle?
Yeah.
You're sideways on Facebook. Did you know that?
No. Thank you.
Here you are on Facebook.
Okay. Let me see. Let's see if I can.
That's how you're supposed to feel at the end of the call.
I'm going back to Zoom.
Hold on. Let me see.
Okay.
Is that better?
Oh, sorry.
On Facebook,
no, you're still sideways.
Oh,
wait. You can't see. Wait, hang on. I cannot multitask.
Okay. Learning new things.
Yes.
Oh, no, I can't multitask.
Okay, let me see.
You are still fast.
Oh, there's my
Try to
dog.
see if I can fix it.
Oh, is that Camille?
Yep, she's barking at the garbage man, I think.
Oh, this is so annoying. This is part of when you're doing something.
And now I understand the excitement that the animals get when there's something outside the window.
Oh, yeah. Getting in a car? Going somewhere? Dog.
Rotate your phone. You can turn the phone while we're playing. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm going to turn off Facebook Live and then go back onto it because I don't know what I did. All right, you guys join me back in a second. Karen and Chris. Okay, let me do that again.
Is that all right? No.
Finish.
I don't know what's going on. Is it doing the green?
Yeah, so I did the yellow first, and then I let that dry a little bit, and then I went into the lime green. I mixed a little bit of the lime green. All right, and delete that.
What's that? The green is what? The stems. Oh, the stems? Yeah. Oh, boy, I wouldn't do that. That's too close to where it's going to run.
It's the underlayer. It's the underlayer.
At the same time, you see, it's left hand.
Let's see now.
You have a professional peanut gallery.
Hello, everybody. I'm back on Facebook Live, and hopefully I'm coming up properly. All right, we're just starting painting Harry the cat with the daffodils, and we're doing a little birthday Zoom party, and glad you guys could all join. So hopefully this is coming up properly. I don't know what it looks like on Facebook.
You are now right side up on Facebook.
Yay! Okay. So getting like some feedback. Okay, I would not do that. So, okay, well, anyway, let's go into Harry's, the cooler tones of the white. So in the white and the fur, I always take a little bit of the navy and mix it with a lot of water. Tiny bit of black, because you don't want it to be super blue. But I just kind of like making a really cool gray. Ton of water. Water is your white, right, Carrie?
Yes.
Carrie knows. So now that came out a little bit on the grayer side. I want to make sure that the fur is different than, so this area right here is a little on the shadow side. So I'm going to do all this shadowing along his face. Okay.
Yeah, he's lost his eye on the right side.
Yeah, so you just kind of, and what I'm doing is I'm just adding more water into my brush, taking that same color, because this is all white, so you don't want to, the whitest you're going to get anything in watercolor is, thanks Karen, now everybody's joining me on Facebook. Facebook Live, back.
Whereas I'm still sketching, and yes, my hand is completely, I forgot that.
Carrie didn't do her homework, she didn't draw out her cat before the Paint Your Pet party.
I'm sorry, I had meetings.
No.
All right,
so,
I'm going to go get some supplies. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, joy. Now she's into it. Yeah. so like the kitty cat's face is like when it gets a little dark, I just take a little wet paper towel and just dab it, and you get that perfect amount of tint. I always say with the watercolor, the white on the paper is the whitest you're ever going to get anything in watercolor. That's the best, most brilliant white. So this kitty cat's fur, it's pretty white right up in here and around his face. So I'm going to leave that exactly as the paper. So now I'm going to go back into the little bit of the shadows over here. The shadows, again, were just a little bit of navy, a little bit of black, and a lot of water. Water, again, is your white. I don't know if you can see that. So, the angles. So I'm just going to fill all that in here. That white. And if it comes out too dark on the paper, just see how I just rinsed off my brush and clean it off on my paper towel, and I'm almost using that as a sponge, like Carrie said, a Swiffer, and mop up that color, and just gotta drag it around. But you don't want to cover all of it. You want to leave that section of him white over here.
They were all full.
How's it going, Barbara? It's Barbara's birthday, so we're doing Paint Your Pet party for Barbara's birthday.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? This is the future. So now I'm just gonna take in like a little bit of the yellow that dripped in the daffodils, and I'm kind of just dragging it up a little bit. And I'm gonna go back in to those greens. Now that green kind of dried, I'm gonna mix a little bit of the darker greens, and a little bit of the navy with that lime green. You don't want to go too dark too fast. So you want to kind of, so that was a little too, see, the paint kit is Crayola, so the colors are pretty brilliant. You want to, if you want to dirty them up and make them more natural, add a little brown to that green to make them a little bit more natural. Like I say, dirty it up a little bit. So I'm just going right up in there. Right underneath. And if it drips, it's okay. Like I always say, do your watercolors on a flat surface because you don't want the gravity start pulling the paint down. That's the best way to do it. But for these purposes, we're going to do it upright so everybody can see. So now I'm going right into this. You want to leave a little bit of the light color that you did underneath because you don't want to cover up all the underlayers. You want to like give it some tone. So just see, there's a lot of shadow underneath those daffodils.
Shadow and yellow.
Yeah.
That's what you did first.
Like I said, the painting is everybody had paints on their own journey. It's like walking to the top of the mountain. It doesn't matter really how you get there. As long as you get there, you know, you don't have to follow one path. There's many ways to get to the top of the mountain. So there we go. And I'm just kind of, I'm leaving a little bit of those yellows. So now it's under the glass, so I noticed how it got a little bit lighter because now the glass reflected. I just drag those same colors. I want to get into Harry's darker colors now. I want to get building up a little bit of that black with the navy again. That's the same two colors I mixed for his shadows. Obviously a lot less. Hey, Mustafa. So okay.
What did you mix for the shadows? I forgot.
I mixed a little bit of the navy, a little bit of the black, and a ton of water. You really want to, really make it almost like you're just staining the paper. So, and you kind of just follow that like shadow down the one side of Kitty Cat. So, and leave the other side just like the paper. You want to have the other side be the white part of the paper. So, I kind of like to kind of lean a little on the blue side because for when I'm doing anything black, because that'll be like the kind of the more, even though in the picture sometimes you can't really see all the lights and darks in black fur on an animal. So I do like blue, like a little bit of navy in the lighter sections. I'm going right up. You see now I'm just following the lines that I drew before, the ones that Carrie is tracing. Oh yay, Carrie, you're ready.
Well, yeah, but I gotta go wipe this off because my hand is.
Yeah, you want to clean your hand. That's actually a very good point. In watercolor, when you're drawing with the pencil, the graphite can be on the back side of your hand when you're drawing, and you want to keep that paper as clean as possible. So before you go into painting, I'm always cleaning off or rubbing off the graphite or anything that's dirty on the side of your hand, because if you rub your hand across the watercolor paper, it'll take all that.
Using the most precious Clorox wipey.
Oh, there you go. She's got all her Clorox ready. I don't know if Clorox goes well with watercolor paint, but
It gets graphite off.
Okay. I wouldn't use that on your brushes, though. Just saying.
No.
Just a little, chemical advice. It's a new era of painting with Clorox wipes. Do not use Clorox wipes on your brush. That will not.
Will not be good.
That will be a difficult thing to do. Just plain watercolor.
I remember as a child is when Dad would be painting on the beach, he would use salt water because it would add texture to the watercolor.
Oh, that is true.
And that little sand.
And
A little sand. Yes, that is true. You can do that. But I don't know if Kitty Cat, if you want to put some texture in her fur with sand. Like I said, it's your painting. It's artistic license. You can do whatever you want with it. Oh, I gotta admit some few people coming in here. Hold on. There you go. Coming to the party. There's more people in the party.
Oh, Cousin Nancy's back. Yay!
Okay. Oh, thanks for everybody joining in on Facebook Live. I appreciate it. We're doing a little Paint Your Pet party, birthday party, and for Barbara.
Hey! Philadelphia's in the house.
Oh, I got everybody in? Good.
Mom, happy birthday! You got one. Happy birthday, Mom. Mom, look. Susan and Franny just joined.
Welcome to the Zoom party, the Paint Your Pet. We're painting.
Thank you. Sorry we're scared late.
That's okay. We're painting Harry the cat with his daffodils.
Very cool.
The daffodils are really pretty in the city right now.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Can you let Sarah in?
Oh, yep.
I tried to get my mom.
I don't see her.
Can't figure
Are
it
you
out.
sure she's in? She's not on the list over there. Sal, try to do it again.
Okay, I'll have her try again.
So start with the flowers and then go to the cat. Pick whatever you want.
So Freddie and Sue, you guys made your own paintings, or you?
Are you drawing Harry the cat?
Yeah, we have Harry. We have Harry here on the acrylic boards.
Oh, okay. So I'm teaching with watercolor, so you're gonna have to go on your own with your acrylic.
That's fine.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a little bit layer with the doing the black with Harry's black sections is mixed a little navy with a little bit of black. So it might come out a little bit on the blue side. So I just kind of adding a little bit more black into it. But it's like you're making like a nice cool gray. So there you go. There you go. And then so with the ears, oh, I got somebody here coming in. There she is.
That might be Sarah.
There you go. Welcome to the party.
Hey, Sarah and Andy. Oh, you're not. Wait.
Hello?
Hello,
Hi,
we
can
see
hear
you.
now.
Welcome to
Yay.
the Barbara's
Sarah and Andy,
Pet
Mom.
Portrait Fun birthday party.
Oh, wow.
We're painting Harry the cat with his daffodils. Carrie, does Harry the cat know there's so much, everybody's like all excited about painting his portrait?
Yes, and so does Charlie. Charlie is pouting.
Charlie's the other cat who's a bit jealous because we're only painting Harry today. He'll get the next billing. So, see, I'm going up to, see, he's got this really distinct white around his nose. So I'm kind of just going to go up. Notice that I'm doing just this mixture of black with navy. And it's kind of watery because you want it to be a bit of a gray. So I'm going right up to that edge where he's got the white. And I'm going to let that dry. But you want to leave that piece that's white, like the paper. I'm going right under his chin. He's got this really cool, and he's got the black on the chin as well. And this really cool little black piece on his nose. And we'll go into his eyes in a minute. Harry. So I photoshopped Harry to be closer to the daffodils. Did you notice that, Carrie?
I was gonna say this because I do remember which picture I sent you.
It just I kind of tweak the composition sometimes. That's my artistic license. I try to make the animal as big as I can on the page. So, all right. So I'm going into just filling up all this. It's with a light kind of mixture of black with the navy.
I'm sure we can hear that motorcycle.
Yeah, we could.
Sorry. It's okay. I have a neighbor for an hour every day. He goes down and polishes a tailpipe. We live in the South.
You can do that in public?
You know, and down here there are all these people who want to prove that they are not staying inside.
Oh.
Like we're surrounded
Not taking
by
away my-
wackadoodles.
Not taking away my constitutional rights. It's like, well,
That's right. Their constitutional right to do what you just heard.
Yeah.
So any parts that's pooling up with the watercolors, I just take a little bit, like I say, the brush is kind of like a Swiffer. It's like a little bit of a mop. It just soaks up. And Harry's got a little bit of that black between his legs right there.
Not in my picture, he does.
Oh, yeah? Like I said, it's your painting, artistic license. You can paint whatever you like.
Looks like a kindergartner was here.
Well, you know.
Okay. So now, what I want to do is I got to let Harry dry a little bit. I'm going to go into the table. The table I'm going to do with kind of mixing up a bit of that orange that I did before in the daffodils. I'm going to like punch that up. And there's, in the watercolor set I'm using, there's like a few oranges. And if you really want to punch it up a little bit, use that like darker orange. Mix it a lot of water. Like I said, if it's not the color you want, just take your wet paper towel and dab it. If you want to lighten it up, just add more water to it. So I'm just going to kind of fill up this whole section underneath the plant, underneath the vase. I'm leaving the vase as white. I'll go back in and do a little bit of like a bluish, but I'm going to let that. I'm going to go right around Harry's paws. So this is important in a white animal. When you go around the fur, you keep that white by just painting the negative space. So.
So, Michelle, is this the first pet portrait pet with professional artists involved?
Yes.
Myself not included?
Yes. I've done Paint Your Pets live with people that are artists, and they did not want to use the drawing I gave them. They wanted to draw it themselves, and I said that's fine too. I said I'll draw it for you anyway, because remember, anything that touches the paper that comes from your hand, whether you trace it from the drawing I gave you or you draw it straight on. But I said, but professional illustrators use this technique anyway, so you're not really cheating. You're cheating just a little bit because I drew it for you. But like the thing is, like I always do the same technique. What I do with everybody, like I draw it on a tracing paper first, and they translate it onto the watercolor paper. And that's what all professional illustrators do. I mean, a lot of them, some of them just freehand it. But if you want something really particular, you draw it all out on tracing paper first. Then you, I wouldn't use carbon paper. That's the difference. I used graphite because you can erase graphite. Carbon doesn't erase. And carbon has a waxiness in it that repels watercolor. But for this purpose, it's okay for using carbon. If you want to get technical. There, that's as technical I'm going to get for you guys. I think I lost everybody like a minute ago. Like,
What?
you're like, what? That was for you, Don. Carrie's dad was a professional illustrator, so for Weekly Reader, which I used to get as a kid in 5th grade, and I loved them.
So, Michelle, Sarah and Andy, who just joined, Sarah's parents also, Walter and Wanda, also worked at Weekly Reader.
Oh, really?
So,
Were you artists?
Yeah.
That's so cool. So yeah, I was when Carrie's parents came into the city, we had a big chat. We were talking up, and then
my dad had a chat. My mom and I sat there and learned about my father.
Don and myself had a nice chat about illustration. So there.
Sarah, you'll appreciate this. My mom and I sat. Mom, like, have you heard this story? I haven't heard the story. I haven't heard this story.
So there.
That's terrific.
Very cool. So, I forgot to do is the little spot on the nose. I'm going to go back into that same bit that I had before. Still doing that kind of like lighter, that it was navy with a little bit of black. And his whole nose is that color. Fill that whole section in. Not too dark right away. Just give it a little bit. And this is not, this advice is for the amateurs out there, not for you professionals over
That would
there.
be me.
So, there you go.
How's it going, birthday girl?
I don't know. I'm better with a T-square than this.
You're drawing Harry with a T-square? Oh, now, oh boy. It's getting really technical over there. So, so he's got these awesome, like, yellowy green eyes. And I'm going to go back in. I think I meant to do that in the beginning. Because the yellow bits are the parts you want to do first. Because you don't want to mix that in. I'm going to mix a little bit of that color. A little bit of the green and the yellow. I'm going to paint the whole iris. And leave that little piece of white. So I always leave a little triangle for that shine. That's going to leave just like the paper. I'm going to fill in the whole eyeball, except for that little piece. And I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to go back on top and do the pupil. But first you want to do that brilliant green, those really light eyes. Even though it's like really dark here, you can't see them.
You put in the eye, that eye, even though you can't really see it.
Yeah, I fill it in with the green. I just fill it in. You know, we're faking it, even though you can't see it in the photograph.
Well, what she did on mine, Mom, is she turned his head on mine so you can see the eye, both eyes.
Yeah.
Mine.
Even though you can't see it in, we're kind of faking it a little. Oh, he's crying in mine. See, so if that happens, it's all right. Don't cry, Harry. It's okay. Carrie won't make you look that bad.
When there's a side view of the animal,
and so she turned it.
I'll say, where's the other eye? Because they have, even if it's the side view, they want to see both eyes.
Oh, like Picasso?
Yeah.
So I just kind of, I meant to do the eyes earlier. I always like to do the lighter things first, let them dry, and then go back in. But that's okay. No, there's no worries. You can kind of just go back in and let it, especially because it's upright here.
Do we like it?
So fill up the whole thing. I'll go back in and do that cheek that he was crying on, but I'm going to let it dry first. With watercolor, if you want to make something darker, just let it dry so you can build up on top of it. You don't want to keep going onto it because you'll lighten it up the more you keep pushing into it. Okay, so now I'm going to let his little teardrop in his eyes dry out a little bit. I'm going to do this, the vase. I'm going to take a little bit of that light blue. There's like a cyan blue in here. I'm just going to go around, even though that's not really in the photo. Just kind of like, just go around the edge, just to show that it's glass. You know, you can leave a little bit of white if you want on the edge. So, and then you can go back in and do some of the details, like darker. It's all like about layering it up. Oh, I want to go into those daffodils again. And I want to do that, like, I'm going to, now the paint, I call it, it gets a little bit more gooey. So there's less water. You have a little more control over it. And you can kind of just, like, follow those lines that either you drew or you traced. And kind of go back over those areas. And see how it's pretty gooey, what I'm doing with the, I'm just kind of outlining. We want to make some shadows in there. We'll go in with some green in there too. You know, it doesn't have to be exact, you know. It's just kind of like, kind of suggestive of the flowers. I mean, if you're really into the details, but I try to make it like simple enough that just kind of, just so you get the idea that it's daffodils. So you don't have to go into every single, you know, stroke of all the shadows. Just get you the idea. Remember, just leave a little bit of the yellow that you put down first, and just kind of go around the edges. A little bit of shadowing in here and there. I said the best bet is just follow the strokes that I had done underneath with a little bit of orange, leaving a little bit of the yellow on top. There you go. So I'm gonna go back in and just added a little bit of shadowing here. I'm gonna go in and do a little bit of the green into those daffodils, into the shadows in the back there, and make some of them pop off. So the yellow is dry now, so you can kind of go in there a little bit. And you follow that shadowing down. I'm going to take some of those that same green and just kind of follow those lines. Like I said, don't cover up everything you did underneath. Just kind of trace over it. A little bit of shadowing. Just a little suggestive. Now, Kitty Cat's face, I want to go back in. I'm going to pull out some of that color in his ears. I just wet my brush, and see how it just erases it a little bit? I just want to take a little bit, because it's a little bit light inside the ears. And then I'm going to go back and go into the shadows of Kitty Cat's face. I'm mixing up, like I said, you want to get it a little more gooey, a little less watery. That way you get a little more pigment in the paint. But you don't want to be too thick just yet. I still have a little bit of water. Now I'm going to go into I'm just going to follow those lines I did around it. Just kind of follow his body, his legs. You're almost just tracing over what you've done before. There you go. And same thing here. His little, this one leg comes down. That line pretty, you can't really see it, but I drew it in there because you know that's there from, just because I'm that good. I know it's there. Just because I said so. All right, I'm going to go back into around this part of his eye. Little shadows, little eyebrows. Make those eyes little eyebrows.
The thing is, I'll find it in paint.
And follow. How's everybody doing out there? Who's joining in? Who's painting? Barbara, how's the birthday girl? Carrie, show me yours.
Wow. He's going to cry if I do, because his eye's too heavy.
So, now.
Some poetic license here.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you start with the background.
Nice.
It's okay to start with the background.
Very cool.
That's a good way to start. You just fill up the space.
Get my brush legs back.
Yeah. So I'm just darkening up this part of his face. This is where you can just trace over the drawing that I had done. Like, just kind of follow the lines I drew that you had traced with the darker, the gooier, I call it goopier.
We had
And the little eyebrows. Once those greens in the eyes dry, we're going to go in and do those pupils, and that'll make his eyes really pop. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill that little. I want to do that background. So Carrie did hers a little magenta. Did my purple. I like a little bit. I'm going to do my purple. So I just gooping up my purple. A lot of water, mixing it up. So I'm building up a puddle.
Because I picked what I thought was purple, but it was
Magenta.
it must have been.
There's a magenta that's at the very end, and purple's right across from it. Brown and then purple. But you can mix.
Yeah.
You know what, Carrie? I'm going to mix a little magenta just because you did so.
I'm such a trendsetter.
Yeah, there you go. You can make it like a tie-dye. You know, a little bit of purple and magenta.
Exactly.
So you mix the two together. And I always like mixing a few colors in the background. Like, I don't want to do one direct. Like, you can kind of. Okay, I'm trying to steer away so it doesn't drip onto my nice daffodils. See that? Yeah, I'm going around. The daffodils are dry right now, so this is where I'm going to go right up to the vase and just kind of drag it up. And meeting up with the spot up here. All right. Now I'm going underneath. This is like where you're painting the negative space around. See how that's just hanging on by a thread, that big drip. Trying to wait till that dries a little bit. It's before I drip it. I don't want it to drip on my daffodils. So that's where I use my Swiffer mop. And I'm swiffering it up with which is my brush. Not literally using a Swiffer, Mom. I realize some people take me literal. You do not use a Swiffer in this. In this, I'm not being reimbursed by Swiffer either for this commercial.
Product endorsement.
I know. Yeah, maybe someday in the future when
That's the next step.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
My paintbrush is acting like a Swiffer, but if you want to buy a Swiffer, I'll get good. I'll get good one day. So, all right. See, now I'll take that drip. I'm just gonna I'm gonna just go around all those flowers. They're all dry right now. I'm just filling up all that space. Go right up to the edge.
Part of watercolors is you get to draw with a paintbrush.
Yeah. I love watercolor. Everyone says it's one of the hardest mediums. It's the most forgiving of all the mediums.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And just the brilliance of using the paper as part of your white.
I know, it's so
Yeah, as long as
opposite
you
when
can-
you're doing acrylic. It's like you build up everything and you use the white at the end. Like this,
Yeah.
that's the one thing with watercolor. I always try to warn people, don't cover, because if you cover it, then you can't get it back. And the white in the palette is, you can never get the white like the way the paper is.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I got really into watercolor in college because, it was kind of laziness a little bit, but it was like you could leave them there and you just throw your, and you didn't even have to clean the brushes. You could just run if your friends wanted to go out. Like, okay, let's go in the middle of painting.
Yeah, oils are so hard.
Yeah,
so
if you left your oil paints, and the brushes, or acrylic, forget about it. Acrylic, you get 2 hours, your brushes were screwed. They would all turn to plastic. And, when you're a poor college student, you can't afford to buy new brushes. So, so watercolor is where is at.
I think it's a lesson learned once. The one time you don't clean your oil or acrylic brushes, then you learn
I was
$50 or $100 lesson about how that brush is never going to be used again.
and watercolors, they last longer. You could, acrylics cost more money when you're in college.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they became my friend. Don't forget to fill up this whole section between kitty cat too. That's important. That'll really pop them across from the flowers. There you go. And if you go on top of the white by accident, that's okay. You just take your wet paper towel and dab that area. So there's kitty cat. Now I'm going to go back into those most important eyeballs. They look, yeah. So now I get the black is pretty gooey at this point, and this is how I do the pupils. Almost it's like you get the paintbrush so goopy that it's like a magic marker, and I go back just in top of those, leave that little piece of white, and then fill in that thing there. And I always do that, like I say doggy mascara, but now we're doing kitty cat mascara. The Egyptian eyes, You have to go take that same black, that same goop, and just go right across the top of the eyeball. And you connect it together. That's important so that it doesn't look so like beady eye, like a big, black beady eye. You put the little bit and you connect it and make sure it touches at the top. And Carrie, you'll see that in the little instructions I give you, I show you a little bit how to fill in, do the pupil, and then go across the top with the kitty cat mascara. And now I'm gonna go underneath as well. Harry's got the little nostrils too in his nose. You gotta go into his fill in those nostrils. And I'm gonna go underneath kitty cat's eyes. There you go. Cute cat. And his little chin. Chinny chin chin. See, I put my finger on that, on some of the outside there. That's okay. I just got to take my brush and just kind of wash it. And with the background, you can have fun. You just make it see it dripped on over here? No worries. I'm going to take my paper towel and dab it. We'll go back in and I'll go over Harry's buttocks.
Hey, but
Is he there?
he he is being the least diva.
So now I'm just going.
Actually, for April 22nd, I woke up. It was 36 degrees here. So
No.
going up by you and Dad, right, Mom? It was I'm sure you guys had a hard frost up there, and
22 degrees.
22. Well, 22 on April 22nd. That's very good. But I left my window wide open last night, and I woke up, and although I liked the cold, it was a bit chilly. The heat wasn't on because, as all of you former and current New Yorkers know, the New Yorkers turned the heat on after April 15th. So the heat came on about an hour ago. So let me see if I can. So he is sacked. Harry.
Oh yeah, let's see Harry.
He's like he's napping.
I'm just. I'm taking my brush right now, and I'm just kind of because this part right here is white, but it's in the shadows. So I'm just touching on the just dragging it so it's not brilliant white like the paper. I'm going to go into a little bit more shadow under the table, too. Yeah.
Oh, here's the jealous brother.
Oh, we'll paint Charlie next.
That's awesome, Nancy.
She's like, I'm getting my... That's why you wanted to get all your...
Nancy, I missed it. Let me say that again.
Nancy, put it up. Come on.
Come on. Aw, I love it. That's awesome.
That looks just like Charlie.
This is my thing.
You can tell that you teach kindergartners.
It's my first attempt.
That's cool, actually. And it's called Swiffer Cat. It's called Swiffer Cat. Look at that, Michelle. It's called Swiffer Cat.
Oh, nice. I love it.
I'm not even show you my real attempt at the cat. It's not really sad.
Well, sorry, like you guys didn't get the same get up that Carrie got. Like,
No, I did.
No, you didn't. No.
I've never been good at paint by numbers either. Doesn't work out.
Carrie got a little bit more of a head start.
Carrie got what she'll be framing to hang after this.
So, see that part that dripped before the eye? I let it dry and I just went back on top of it and I'm just taking that black.
I still can't figure out how you do the white. Like
the white? The white is that I'm leaving it just like the paper. It's all.
It's amazing how you. Very impressed with all of you because I couldn't do it.
Thank you. I'll take compliments.
Oh,
I will take compliments. It's so good.
I'm like.
All right, Charlie literally just jumped up and knocked Harry's picture on the ground. Who have brothers,
Like,
Sarah, Vice.
You're like Tiger King over there. Got Wild Kingdom going on in Carrie's apartment. So I'm just doing a little more shadowing.
That's what we should paint for Harry, that picture of him yawning. It's like he's eating the city.
And I wrote his name here. I don't know if you want to write. You don't have to write the name. Sometimes I write the names of the animals because I think it looks cute, like in there. But it's up to you. Sometimes I put them in a little heart. So there's Harry. Like, and this is a little bit of shadow too. So just to take that, to make this paw stand out a little bit, I'm just kind of dragging a little bit of that. I'm just kind of go around. I'm dragging some of the color just with like a very damp brush, not wet. You don't want it to be sloppy.
That's beautiful.
So So, and you go in between the little toes.
I can't even show you mine.
Oh, come on.
It's really awful. Here, Mom.
That's what we should paint for Charlie.
Oh, I love that picture.
How's it going, Barbara?
That's awesome.
Birthday girl.
It's like
I don't know. It has an abstract look.
I love that.
That was good.
I could not figure that out.
That's brilliant.
That's great. I want to like put my body inside the cat's mouth, like
I know.
like it's eating me.
How I couldn't paint. I couldn't paint.
Did everybody see the Tiger King?
No, no.
Carrie's like, I'm not
I've been
doing
told
that.
not to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I've been told not to watch it.
Look away! Look away!
Look away. So I just saw an article that 2 cats in New York City attested.
I saw that
COVID.
too.
I have never wanted something to be fake news more in my life.
Yeah.
They said that cats are getting it. Will get it more than a way a dog was because cats' noses are to their faces the way humans are. Where dogs, like it has to go through so much of a dog's nose. That's one of the things. But I mean, but if you're like a pug or something like that, I don't. Who knows? Spreading news. Look at Carrie. Your cat is eating your head.
I know.
You have to send me that photo of your cat so that I can get my picture inside it.
That'll be the next one. We're gonna do Harry next one.
Charlie.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody on Facebook Live. Thank you for watching. This is Harry the cat with his daffodils. And if you want your pet portrait done, do-it-yourself kit, just go to Pet Portrait Fun, and send me a photograph of your animal, and I will draw it up for you. And I'll send you all the equipment, all the art supplies. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody. I'm not leaving you guys.
No, she's not leaving us. She's just leaving Facebook Live.
Yeah, I just do it for an hour.
Party for the special people.
Yeah, you're special people. I'm here to help all the special people.
That was very short bus sounding. And I know directed at me. I've got eyes and daffodils done. That's it.
Well, I do an hour for Facebook Live, and that's pretty much how much. That's stretching it too. If people want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
But now we can get back to the birthday party.
How's it go? Oh,
They did. Perfect.
I said happy birthday before. Happy birthday again.
Yeah, so Mom, on Saturday night, we threw a surprise Zoom party for Paul's birthday.
Yeah. Okay.